What up, guys? Christmas Lights here, and I just want to talk a little bit about a Christmas light story. And I got some questions that I am going to answer, and so that is what I'm going to do tonight. And so the first thing I have here tonight is... What up, guys? Christmas Lights here, and I just want to talk a little bit about a Christmas light story. And I got some questions that I am going... So I don't know why that's doing that, but I'm sorry about that. I got my new computer, and so you're going to have to work here with me while I figure this out. So what is my favorite time Christmas story, or what is your favorite time Christmas story? Can you tell me a story that you really like for Christmas? And mostly I'm looking for Christmas light story. I'm going to tell a little bit of a Christmas light story. So you can see this beautiful, I am wicked loud. Well, I can turn that down real quick. Because like I say, new computer, everything is wampus, and we'll see what happens there. Let me know if I need to turn myself down some more, but I did turn myself down quite a bit there. So what is one time... we're here, Jason and Christine, the Gulf Coast. So the Christmas story, this was a pretty cool Christmas story that I did here. This was one that I flew out to New York, and we did all these Christmas lights here. It was a training slash, it is for the Santa Tree Farm there. And so this was a pretty cool job I did. I went out, I spent 3 nights there, and it was just a good time, and everybody learned, and it was nice and warm. It wasn't too cold out and all that. But that's not the story I want to talk about tonight. I'm going to talk about way back when I was just a young little feller. And so I loved Christmas lights my whole life. Every year we would always go out to a farm that was about an hour's drive from us. It was called Rudd's Farm, and they don't do it there anymore, but it was just this old farm guy, and he had his whole farm set up in Christmas lights, and it was always a tradition we did every year, was to go out there and do this. And he had live deer that you could go and pet, and it was a Christian thing, so they had the story of Jesus, and that was a part of it. And basically it just went up one ridge and back down another one and back up the other ridge, and it was a lot of fun to go there. And that is, I was probably anywhere from about 5 years old to about, I'm going to say 13, 14 years old. And so that is a memory that was a lot of fun that we always did as a family. And so that is why I like Christmas lights. Now, once I got older, I didn't care so much about Christmas lights. I didn't even put them on my own house much. But then when I started learning about more Christmas lights, now I love to go around looking at Christmas lights. We always drive around for Christmas lights. I would always try to find the coolest places to do it. The ones with, all the music, and I mean, they're coming out with some pretty crazy stuff now. The 3D mapping on your house, and all kinds of stuff is coming out now, and from Christmas lights. And so, them are some pretty cool things that Christmas lights. Add me to the list of Cleveland. Okay, so so Christmas lights is something that I love to do for people, and it's one of those things that when you're installing Christmas lights, obviously this isn't something cheap that just anybody can do. And I do have a lot of fun teaching Christmas lights, and I do have a lot of fun help people install Christmas lights. Like I said, again, this one here is at the Santa Tree Farm. It's on Long Island, up in Long Island, and it is in, I couldn't remember the town. It's like CH something, but it's a lot of fun. It's really cool. I believe they leave it lit up all year long, and it is really cool. They do sell Christmas trees. They sell the whole inside of this barn here behind me. is full of like trinkets and all the ornaments and all different kinds of stuff are in the Christmas tree farm here. So that's about my story. I hope you all can still hear me. I had a few questions from last week. Again, I'm going to do this every Thursday night at 7:30ish. I would have been here at 7 tonight, but my mother had knee surgery today, and she's still at the hospital, but I had to get here, and so that's why I pushed it to 7:30. So some questions I got last week is, do you provide the lights, or does the customer provide the lights? And this is a question that comes up a lot. And this is a question that we provide the lights. We provide the lights. We do not allow, we do not install customers' lights, because whenever you go to a customer's lights that wants you to install them, they will bring you out the biggest bin you ever seen, 3 or 4 of these bins, and it will look like a rat's nest. Most time people just throw them in there, and then they expect that you're going to get them up and making them all work. And that is something that is very hard to do, is to get all those lights up and working, and not try to drive yourself crazy trying to figure out how to get all these lights up and working. So we do provide the lights. Again, we do it as a service and the whole 9 yards of that. In your next video, could you talk about running extension cords and how to secure them to the roof? So again, with the way I teach how to do Christmas lights, is we build our own extension cords. We do not put big orange nasty looking extension cords. I have a picture. Since it's on my other computers, I got my other computer up and my new computer up and running, so we'll see how it's going to work. But that is something that that we can do. And when we do it, the extension cords, I do believe I have a video on my YouTube channel, I think so, about how we run them up behind the gutters, how we put clips in there so when we go to take down, because when we install to put up Christmas lights, we want to be able to take them down from the ground, and we want to be able to take them down in about 10-15 minutes, and it really can go that fast. It don't take long at all, just a zip zip zip, and they all come rolling down. They come down fast. Let's see, what did Christina is in charge of the that's weird looking. Christina is in charge of the design and sales, of course. I have one house guaranteed already. Mother-in-law, don't worry, the in-laws like me. Well, that's always a good thing. We don't like when the mother-in-laws don't like us, but sometimes they can be hard to work with. Let's see, who do you use as a light vendor? So there's a couple different people out there to buy lights, just like there's anything to buy. I am going to be selling for the dude that I buy from. It's going to be the same pricing, so it's not like I'm jacking them up to make more money. He sells them to me, and then he gives me my commission out of that. So I will be selling lights through him, and I'm hoping to have a website up within a couple weeks. And I mean weeks because I'm going to be out of town next week. So in a couple weeks, so that way I can have it ready to go and start selling them online, because he don't sell much online right now. And then another question, Brian asked, did you run into many situations where someone wanted more lights than they had power to run? What would you do in this situation? Well, I don't know why this is staying up so long. Let me see something here. Automatically hide comments after 15 seconds, so we'll do 30. Sorry, I've got new computer and I'm trying to do all kinds of stuff here. So with the new LED lights, there's not a lot of, we don't have to worry about power. You can see everything I had up in here. We did the house. We did the house here in Gingerbread. We did all these lights and bushes in the front of this house here. We did this big building here, and I believe we were at 10 amps. Actually, I think we were at 8 amps. And so there's not a lot of power being drawn with new LED lights. We really don't have to worry about the LED lights when we are using. Now, the old incandescent lights, the old lights that we used to use way back when, we had to worry about power. Power was an issue. Back in the old days, the building here would have took 2 circuits because we are only able to run 130 feet on old incandescent bulbs, where these new bulbs we can run boatloads of them. We have one church I think I was like 800 or 900 C9 bulbs, and I was still at my okay power of amps. How do we track what's going on to be in style? Warm white. Try not to go away from it. Back in the old, when I first started, it was pure white, and that trend went away. It is coming back a little bit this year, I've noticed, but warm white. And then you can do some different things. Like right here, I did candy cane. This is all candy cane. It was 2 red and 3 white, or 3 red, 3 white, whatever, however you want to do it. Make it look candy cane, and that's a cool style too. And that's something that's a little different. You know, it just depends on if they want more Christmassy or whatnot. But most people just want the classic warm white, and that's what it looks good, and you can't really screw it up. Good evening, Dan. How are you doing? Up in Cleveland. But yeah, so that is definitely some things that we need to make sure is, you know, the trends. You know, sometimes these trends can go and they can be really good, and sometimes these trends they don't go very good, and you'll be surprised. How do we reel the lights up so it doesn't mix together? So with the minis, I wrap them around my hand and clip the male and female back together. And then on the C9s, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can put them down in a box. I've done them that way. I've also done, and I like doing it, and I've got a video on here on this channel of making, they're 18 inches long, and they are 18 inches long, and they're a piece of 1.5 inch PVC pipe with 2 T's on the end, and they roll up real nice on there, and then they'll roll real nice coming back off there, and then that way we don't have to worry about messing, getting them all in a knot, because they will get in a knot if we're not careful. First starting out, should I buy all the materials up front, 1,000 reel of C9, or wait for people to order and just go off of that? Just curious, because it seems I can save more money buying in bulk. I would buy 1,000 foot, like you're saying. You could buy 1,000 foot and you'll be about $1,500 time you buy your clips and your wire and everything that you're going to need. And, that'll get you 4 houses. 3 or 4 houses, maybe 5 if they're smaller, and it's good. You can go ahead and do your house or your in-laws house, and that gives you practice, because the more practice we get doing this, the faster you get. This isn't something that the first time you go out there and you're going to be like bam 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 bam, and even if you come to a training course, it takes time to go back and just get that time in there of your hands on and really push in doing it. Icicles suck. Icicles are big here. And wrapping palm trees. Wrapping palm trees, just don't go out the leaves too much, otherwise it looks like something we don't want to talk about. But icicles suck, and we charge a lot for icicles. And if people are willing to pay a lot, then we're willing to put them up. But icicles are something that, we can sell C9 bulbs $6 to $8 a foot. Icicles $10 to $12 a foot, because they are a pain in the tail. They are a big pain. On the business side of things, do you file your accounts with your pressure washing or under a separate business. So the way I had it was Pressure Wash Cincinnati was here, Christmas Light Cincinnati was here. These were both DBAs doing business as, and my main business was called ProServe Group. So ProServe Group was the main one, and then these are DBAs. If you have your power washing, business here, you could do it as a DBA and do your Christmas light business here. Is probably what I would do. I did have its own website, the whole 9 yards. Its own website, Google My Business, everything. And I had to Google My Business for pressure washing and everything on its whole 9 yards. So both of these were independent businesses per se that looked like independent businesses, but it was all owned by ProServe Group, which owned both of them. I know that probably sounds confusing, but that's how I did it. How fast can they get to Florida? I would say it's coming from Chicago, so I would say 2 days. And I believe there's another dude down in Florida. I don't know if he's kind of local to you or not. And even a local guy might be better to buy from even from me, because if you can find a local guy, a lot of times even if you got to pay a little bit more, that way you got the ability just to go there and get it quick. Best way to do branch wrapping lighting as putting lights on every branch so that light shows its individual branching. So that's called a branch wrap, and that gets very expensive. And so it's just a matter of time. I show it in my videos. We're going to do 4 fingers wrapping the tree all the way around. There is a way to wrap it so it comes down faster. I haven't really tried it myself. I might try to do some this year, but it's basically you run a piece of string up the back side of it, and then you just come into that string going back, and then in the end of it, because the bad thing of it is when you take these types of lights down when we do tree wraps, you got to unwrap every freaking one of them, and so you can take that string and pull it out, and all of them will fall off. So how many color options should we offer? So I usually mostly warm white. If you want to do the candy canes, then obviously you can do the candy canes. If you want to do multicolor, you can do multicolor. But warm white is what I really try to push a lot. I really try to push the warm white. Warm white is just, a lot of people love it, and it's just a lot easier to deal with. Awesome. I'm going to do this year. I am going to run it by my accountant. He sets up my QuickBooks for me. I wash his billing. That's a great trade. And I know you had said you would do some training up there, and I would really like to host one up there. I'm trying to wait to see. I'll let you know when my timing might be. It might be around Labor Day. I don't know if you can do that or not. I think I'm supposed to be in Cleveland area Labor Day weekend, actually. I'm going to be there for the soccer team, and so let me know if that will work for you. Is your training all online? Do you travel up to Toledo? It is all online. I have a training course online. I'm also doing I'm going to do some training in my live training. I'm trying to find some different people across the country. And so that way, if you will host a training site, I will probably give you a big discount. And if we get over 5, I will give you yours for free for hosting it. The only thing for the Christmas side of things is I'd really like to have a 1-story house versus a 2-story house. And that is more for the safety side of things. So that way we're not worrying about climbing up 2 stories versus only 1 story. Christmas light training in Florida. That might happen. We'll have to see, yo. I'm not 100% sure on that. We'll see. And some of it's going to deal with stupid COVID crap too. So that's why I haven't really planned too far out, because places are starting to shut back down a little bit. And so I know after November 4th, we'll probably be all right on that. But until then, who knows what's going to happen. We might be all wearing dog collars and everything else by the time this is done and shortly. So, yeah, man, of course, just let me know which day. Yep. So, no COVID guarantees. You're right. It would probably be, they're talking about the weekend of that Saturday, Sunday is the tournament. So it might be like that Friday, the Friday of Labor Day weekend is what I'm kind of thinking, and we'll go from there. But let me make sure, because we're not 100% that tournament is getting up there and in Cleveland. But yeah, so reindeers takes up a lot of space, but does the lights last on them? So I don't push reindeers. We don't try to sell the big ornaments, the deer, that kind of thing. That's because they take up a lot of space and it's kind of hard to store. And a lot of times when we're trying to store the bigger things, when we pile them stuff together, they don't usually fare very well. Now, I'm not saying you can't sell that kind of stuff, because obviously you can make a lot of money off of it, but the storage side of it is something that you definitely got to look at of what we are looking at. So reindeer and, blow-ups obviously are a big no. We don't want things that we have to go back and fix. Blow-ups will blow over or not blow up or who knows what, and then you're getting callbacks. And so we want the least amount of callbacks as we can get. And so the only time I would use blow-ups or stuff like that would be if I was doing a freebie for somebody. I did one for a kid that their dad died in a line of duty death, and so we did their Christmas lights, and I put a big blow up on top of the house and a big snowman in the front, and so I did that because that's kind of what he wanted, and I did have to go fix him one time. So that's really the only time I've ever used blow-ups. Blow-ups are a pain in the neck. Deer, like I say, you could use deer. I never really did because it's a pain in the neck, and that's just the reason why I didn't. Are we advertising Christmas lights? That was a good lightning strike. Are we advertising Christmas lights the same as washing? A lot of the methods are the same, but I use a lot of, obviously, our reviews and our Google My Business and all that. But in the end of it, I'm using a lot of Google AdWords. I'm going to spend quite a bit on Google AdWords. I'll probably spend, if I was a new company start out, I would budget $2,000 to $3,000 in AdWords for the second week to the end of October till about December 10th, and I would spend $2,000 to $4,000 in AdWords. And if I could get more jobs, I'd probably spend more than that. But I would. It's all about getting leads. At the end of the day, if we can't get leads, it don't do good. And signs work good too. Plaster them babies around. Signs work really good too. Signs work really good. Should we build packages with pictures? Will that help set the customer expectations? Obviously, when we're bidding Christmas lights, we're going to help them set up their bid. And so we're going to talk, and we're going to put it in bid style of, C9s across the roof, this much money, bushes, this much money. And that way, reason why we want to set it up that way is they're like, man, that's way above my budget. Well, if we take out this, then obviously we can make more money that way. How'd that come up? I didn't even hit that one. Do you use nets for bushes or just string it yourself? We just string them ourselves. These are all just stringed right here. When you learn how to do them good, they'll just string up real nice. We use our hand. I have different methods of teaching of what the distances are and all that kind of stuff, so that way we can make sure that we can get the right distance in them, because we'd rather put too many lights up than not enough. 99% of your callbacks will be not enough lights or something along that way. I've only had since 2014 putting up Christmas lights, I've only had one person call because we put too many lights up, too many lights in there. I've had several people call because, oh, you didn't put up enough lights. I paid that much money and you only put up that many lights. Okay, you're right. I'll go back out and put some more lights up. Running line over a driveway when they want a tree done that far from the house. So most of the time that's not an issue. Most of the time, if they want a tree done on the other side of the house, that usually means we're doing the house, which means we can run down off the other side of the house and go out the driveway or whatever way we need to go out to be able to hit that other side. Very rarely, the only time that you can't do that is if they have like a circle driveway or something and there's a tree in the middle of that, like if they have a circle in their thing and they have a tree in the middle. That is the only time we got to really worry about going across the driveway. I have a video on this channel about how to get it underneath the driveway, and basically we're going to go through the crack and clean out a crack that's really good and shove and tuck that wire all the way across there, and then that way, hopefully, if you're in snow area, they don't hit it with the plow. I've never had one hit yet with the plow by doing that. Not to say that it won't happen, but most of the time what I try to do is if we're running across the house, we can run. If we have a house here, or say this barn right here, and we powered right here, we can run across this barn all the way across right here, come down this pole, and then get on that other side, and that's how we can keep running and doing that stuff. So that is how we do that. Layla, my Christmas lights wires come loose, LED burned out, pair strings, my fuse burned out of lightning storm. Do they repair strings LED? You can repair the LED lights. If the fuse is bad, obviously we can replace that fuse. But most of the time, it's not worth the time that you're going to spend trying to fix an LED light. Most of the time, you're going to spend way more time than it's worth, and you just pitch that. And I know you might pay $10, $20 a strand, but most of the time, I'm going to replace it. LEDs is one of those things, because a lot of times where the LED goes bad is the little rectifier. There's a little rectifier that's in there that makes that LED or makes them lights go bad. And when that rectifier goes bad, you're going to have a whole section of lights go out. Usually you're going to have 10, 15 lights that go out of that section because that rectifier got bad or went bad. And so when that rectifier goes bad, it's hard to bypass that rectifier. I mean, you can't really replace that rectifier. So that is why it's just easier just to go ahead and replace the lights versus fixing one light or something of that. What's the cost per 100 feet does change with color options? It's not that the color costs any different. It's the matter of the cost of, or it's more time consuming. So say if we have warm white, put a whole big bag of warm white, and we can go down and screw them right in there. When we do color, then we got to start slowing down, because we got to do 3 white, 3 red. Get my white, 3 white, 3 red, 3 white, 3 red, or green, blue, orange, red, yellow. And then if you got employees, they'll do yellow, 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 orange, orange, and now it's like you got this big section that you got to go put some color in there because it looks stupid. So that's So that's really reason why it isn't that there's more cost, it's just more time consuming is what it really at the end of the day. And with color lights, it's also more stuff we have to store, more stuff we have to worry about buying different things versus the warm white. How can we do lights on barrel tile? Do we just attach to drip edge gutters? Not on all houses here. And that is a great question. I was actually, if I had time, I didn't have time to put up a light because that was one of my favorite ones also, was lights that we did. It's actually icicle lights that we did on the manager of the Cincinnati Reds house. And it's a beautiful looking the Ohio River area. And basically our all-in-one clip will slide up underneath them barrel towel or right over that barrel towel, and they'll hold on that way is how you do it. It is a little bit, they do suck, but they will hold and push up on there. Now, we did do, the only good thing was that was an icicle job, which sucked. It took us forever to get them up, but we didn't have to put a bulb up everywhere. But if you got to do a bulb everywhere, you just got to do it and go with it. So it is something that is time consuming, but it is very easily to be done, and it will work very easy. Is there professional brands for lights compared to power washing, home grade versus real? Yes, there is. Walmart versus the better C9s, all that kind of stuff. Back in the day when we used to do incandescents, it was cheaper to go to Walmart and buy all their lights out and throw them all away at the end of the season. Now with LED, it's not really cheaper to do it that way. A lot of your LEDs at, like, say, Walmart versus the professional brands is most of the professional brand will be like a all molded. When it's molded, it's all molded. The Walmart brands are like put in 2 or 3 pieces put together, so water will get in there. Water will cause issues, obviously, and that's the problem with the C9s. Some of the C9 on, like, the Walmart brand C9s will have, they're just basically a mini with a C9 looking bulb on it, and so that is what it is. What? Huh? What? Huh?
Good night.
Good night, sweet pea. So the bulb is actually just a little mini, and with a C9 bulb looking thing over it, and so it's not going to be no brighter than our bulbs right here. So you can see how much brighter these are versus these are. And that's because also a lot of times, well, it just depends on, but some of the, you'll have up to 5 LEDs, but now the SMDs are a little bit different, and so that's why they're a lot brighter. I thought there was another question, but I don't see it. So that is why the lights are a lot brighter. And I mean a lot brighter. So that is the purpose of that. But Christmas lights are a lot of fun. I would, if you know, I may try to get some people to come on some of my lives here. Good night, sweet pea. And so I may try to get some people to come on that have done Christmas lights. I know I probably can get Donovan to do it, and some other Fred to do it, and some other people to come on and to do Christmas lights, so that way we can kind of get a different opinion other than just Jason's opinion, which it is a good opinion, but that way you'll be like, so there is other people making money. There's a lot of money to be made in Christmas lights. If there is a water issue on a bulb, will the whole line short out with new tech? So yes and no. So the yes part of it is, if you have, so say one of these, I keep getting my, here, I'm going to change something here real quick. So when I put my finger up there, mirror. So If you have a bulb up here and it shorts out, it's going to cut them all out because it's going to pop the breaker, or it's most likely going to pop the GFI. So even some of these right here, these lights right here, if they are close to the ground right here, say if the ground's right here and there's a big puddle of water, that can cause moisture to get in there, and that can cause a breaker to trip, or the GFCI to trip. Now, if one of these bulbs go bad right here, usually what will happen is just a section of them will go out. 5 lights, 10 lights, something like this. If we have one of these bulbs go bad, it's just going to be that one bulb that goes bad. And a lot of times, like I said, there can be anywhere from 3 to 5 LEDs in it. A lot of times with them 3 to 5 LEDs, it can be just as simple as 2 of the LEDs go out. So maybe it's just kind of dim a little bit. But eventually, they're all 3 of those bulbs are going to go out, and then that whole light will go out. It's just a matter of going up there, unscrewing a bulb, and screwing it right back in and doing it. And so LEDs are really easy to work with. We're talking very low voltage. And back in the day, voltage was a big issue. I mean, we had to just the minis right here. You could only put five strands of minis, and then you had to go and put another plug, because the little fuse in the end of that plug was only rated at like 2 amps. So five strands would be 2 amps, and so it drawed a ton of electricity. And so with the new LED bulbs and everything, it's a lot less electricity wise. Yes, teach us the do's and don'ts, definitely the don'ts. One thing is don't. I'll tell you a story. Let's see. Oh, these bulbs. So this is what I'm talking about. I didn't know I had a bulb here. And so these bulbs here will just screw right in, and then that way we can do that. The great thing about these bulbs are we don't have to, these versus the old ink or the old glass ones, we don't have to worry about them breaking. They'll fall down. I can throw it. It don't break. All that kind of stuff. Let me see if I thought I had a plug here. So I don't have one. So we are dealing with electric. So just remember that the male plugs need, here I go. So this isn't a plug, but this kind of looks like the plug right here. So I'm just going to use this. So they just slide on. There's a little piece on there that slides on the back. This isn't it at all, but I'm just showing it. So when we're making this, when we're building these lights, we never want 2 males, because 2 males don't work very good. First off, 2 males don't work very good. But what happens when we have 2 males on the same extension cord or the same power line is one male is going to be plugged into a female, another male is going to be bare open. It could be, but it could go somewhere. But if it came unplugged, we're going to have a male that is hot at that point. And this can happen a lot of times when we're building extension cords. We might not be paying attention, and you touch that, you gonna get shocked. Now he say, well, 120 won't hurt you, or 120 isn't that bad, because that's what this is gonna be, is 120. But don't be stupid. I had an employee. He wasn't the brightest bulb in the pack at all. I mean, there was no brightness in this bulb. And so you have to slide a cover over the back of these lights here. And so I told him not to do it, but one of my head dudes is always doing it. He'd take it in his teeth and tighten it. And that's how he would slide it on, because he was too lazy to go get his pliers, or he would always lose his pliers, so he would just do that. Well, this one dude, he thought it would be a good idea to do this on a male. The problem of this male was it was a hot male. It was plugged in over there. And so you say, well, 120 won't knock you to the ground, or 120 won't hurt you. Well, just so happens it got him right here on the lip. It burnt down his lip. He still has a scar from it. It knocked him to the ground, all the way down to the ground. Luckily, he wasn't up on a roof. he was on the ground. But it knocked him on the ground, and it burnt through his lip through there. So we got to be careful even with just little old 120. 120 don't sound like a lot, and you've probably been hit by something at your house or something, but 120 can hurt pretty bad, and it's nothing to mess around with. And so 120 is 120, and it will hurt and it will bite you for sure. I've popped them, and it scares you and it jumps you a little bit, and if you do it real fast, that way it don't pop the breaker and you're too lazy to go tell somebody to turn it off. I've done that too, but I've done it slow sometimes and it popped my breaker, and now I'm screwed at that point. But so we got to be careful with when we're dealing with electric. Remember, we're dealing with two things that's dangerous. We're dealing with electricity, and we're dealing with heights and roofs and ladders. And guys, take ladders seriously. Don't do stupid stuff on ladders. There was a guy in the pressure washing world that fell. That was lucky he's still alive. And what did he do? He did stupid things. He put a ladder on top of a roof, of a barrel tile roof. Don't do that. Get the right size ladder. The $200-$300 that you saved to try to not do that, or the time you think it saved you, he's off work for 2 weeks or a week, 2 weeks till he can come back. If it killed him, it didn't matter at that point. So be careful when we're up on these roofs. I had a neighbor. I got an old neighbor. He's old. He's going to be 87 here in August, and he fell off of the third step of the ladder, trying to clean out his gutters, and broke a bone in his back. Broke a couple bones in his back, and all kinds of stuff. Don't do nothing stupid. No amount of money is worth falling off of a ladder, period. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you're house washing. I don't care if you're pressure washing, if you're gutter clean out, if you're Christmas lighting, any of that stuff. Be careful. Be careful. That's one important thing. Be careful. Like I say, ladders can be very dangerous. We can do some very sketchy stuff during Christmas lights. I'm not going to lie. There's safety that we try to do. The goat, if we can use a goat, if we can use ladders with ladder stabilizers on them, all different kind of things. Ladders can be very dangerous. Very dangerous. Ladders. Be patient. Take your time. Or be a patient for 6 months in traction if you're lucky. Like I say, Mike was down by your area, and it was lucky he did not die. Literally die from it. Would you recommend to use yard signs, stakes to lift connectors, or high bushes in front of houses? No, you don't need to do that. You can run them without that. Does your training cover electric knowledge? How much should I know before I start? I go over everything that you need to know about electrical. We don't need to know that much about electrical. The biggest thing we need to know about electrical is where's the GFI and where's the breaker and what tripped the GFCI. That's at the end of the day. And where to find the GFCI. The GFCI is a plug that's usually in your bathroom or in your kitchen. So if something gets wet, it pops it. So we got to find that. And most of the time, we're going to find that GFCI either in the kitchen, in the garage, in the bathroom, or in the basement. One of those 4 spots, you will find a GFCI and find why your lights are not working. And I go over every bit of that 100%. Because that is something that is very important that you got to know and definitely figure that out before the hard side of figuring things out. Again, I am planning some Christmas light trainings, in-person Christmas light trainings. I'm trying to not just host them here in Cincinnati, but in a couple of different places around the country. If you go to pressurewashhelp.com/training host, I believe it is. I don't know if it is. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And sign it up there, and hopefully I'll start reaching out to some of the, I know I've gotten some people to do it, and I will start reaching out and trying to set up some dates to figure it out. Right now, my daughter's soccer is kind of up in the air with COVID, so we're trying to figure out what's going on there. Regular C9 change. Can you put LED bulb string? Regular C9 strings can change. Can you put LED bulb string? If you buy, it depends on what type, Layla. Regular C9 strings. If you buy the Walmart brand or the really cheap ones that don't have the bulbs that screw in and out, you can not interchange them out. If you have the better ones where you can screw a bulb in and out, let me go get my bulb that I threw over here. If you have this type right here, if you have the type that can screw in, even if these are incandescent, that is fine. We can unscrew the incandescent bulbs out, or the old bulbs, and then we can screw these into into your sockets, and that will work that way. These here will last if you put in these LED bulbs, or if you buy these good LED ones, not the really cheap ones, but these really good ones. They'll last anywhere from 5 to 7 years. These bulbs are pretty bulletproof. You very rarely will you lose these bulbs here. They work really well. And yes, you might pay a little bit more in the beginning, but you're not going to pay it every year over and over and over. They will last a long time. These are some really good bulbs. Like I say, I can throw this really hard before they start cracking and breaking. And so, that is the cool thing about these bulbs right here. I don't have a shop. Definitely going to look for an enclosed trailer. So I know some people, you can either store them into an enclosed trailer. I also, I will be back on pressure washing if you are still awake at that point at 9 o'clock. But I don't have a shop. I do know some people that if you don't have a shop, you can either put them in your Christmas lights, or you can do like a rental place, do the small rental place. For those who don't know Mr. Guyman, he is here to make you successful. Don't worry, no one could have convinced us how successful we could get, and we're just getting started. That's awesome. Is texture bulbs better than straight glass? The straight glass was good for the incandescence because it gave it a glow. These here try to give it a glow. So yes, they both all work the same. Even with the tempered glass here, or the textured glass, you're really only going to see the bulb this way. If I put it up this way, you're going to see a little bit of it, but the brightness is coming through this way when you actually see the LEDs. You mentioned you're getting into selling from a supplier you used to use. Your site takes me to Amazon. Is that where you're selling them from? No, that was from last year, and that was before Amazon screwed everybody. I know I put that up there, and that's how I was making money off of people buying it that way. But the lights I'll be selling will be a lot cheaper than what is on Amazon. The only way that it won't be cheaper is if you don't buy them in bulk of 500. And if you start, I may put some up there for in the lower end, but I don't know yet. But yes, that's why those are way more expensive that way. And I haven't messed with that site yet. I started wanting to put more content out here on Christmas lights, and so that is what I'm going to do. I'd like to start doing the video a week also, so I'm going to do the live on Thursday nights at 7:30, and then I would like to do one video a week on here. I don't know when I'm going to start that, because next week I'm gone all week, so I will try to be on here next Thursday night, but I'm not guaranteeing nothing. I might be down with Cody somewhere. If a customer asks for changing lights, will you charge more? Unless I did something stupid, yes, I'm going to charge. But most of the time, they're not going to change lights from there. Will they be sold from your site? I will have a link over to it. I actually once I get the site up, it'll be christmaslights.io is where my site. It's going to be a Shopify site, so that way I'm hoping that it will work right and be easy, and so I can show pictures and do all kinds of things. But that site is called christmaslights.io. I bought the site. I haven't built it yet. That's what I got to work on. But he don't have most of your vendors don't get nothing till October or September anyway. So you really don't have to worry about start buying lights till October, November-ish. No, not November-ish. August, September, October, because now this year is a little bit different because of COVID and China. So China used wouldn't get here till September, October-ish. And I talked to Bill last night, or I talked to Bill a couple weeks ago, and they're actually getting stuff in August. So he may have stuff for sale here shortly, and so that way I can help with that. You need your own site, Jason. I want 5%. You gonna build it for me? I'm hoping code enforcement won't recognize my number on signs. Actually, Jason, I would maybe put a different phone number down for Christmas lights, and if you can get another Google My Business for your Christmas lights, I would highly, in that way you can do another Google My Business for your Christmas lights, and that way it really needs to be another number than that. It's not to say that it can't be transferred to your number, but you really need another number. You can do it free through Google Voice. I don't really recommend the Google Voice that much. I would use Number Barn, I believe it is, and you can buy a number for like $6 a month or something fairly cheap. And that way, if you do go through Google Voice, there's a lot of times you won't get your phone done. It won't ring. It's kind of stupid, so that's what you got to be careful with. But yes. And that way you got a different number that they can call you, and that way they'll be like, I don't know who you're talking about. But yes. So I'm going to get off here. My town does not like my signs. They take it down and give it a Christmas fine. Can I talk to them and give them money to keep my signs, or is it a no-go? Some places it's just going to be a no-go. You're not going to have a choice. So it sucks. Go to another town that doesn't do that is the only thing I can tell you, or on the outskirts of that town. That's my only options I have for you. But again, you can go to christmaslightshelp.com. I have some stuff there. I don't have a lot of stuff there. I will be adding more stuff. And right now, I'm trying to do my pressure washing site, my Christmas light site, and I got stuff going everywhere. I do have good news tonight. I put my 2-week notice in at the firehouse yesterday. So I will be quitting the firehouse as of August 7th. I will no longer be a fireman. I have to go all my days of vacation. I do have to go work an hour in August, so that way my benefits go all the way till August 31st. And so I'm going to go eat breakfast one morning with the guys, be my last shift probably. And so that is some exciting news, and that's way I can focus on more of this and help you guys be successful and grow your business and get to the next level. So definitely go check that. Definitely go check out christmaslightshelp.com. I do have my training stuff in there, If you want to learn just Christmas lights and the marketing side of it, is $49 a month, and it's just, you can go for however long, or you can do the whole shoot and shebang with pressure washing. If you want to learn more about pressure washing, go check out my next live. I will be on pressurewashhelp.com/YouTube, and I will be good stuff you next week. Take your vacation. So go check out pressure washing here in about 30 minutes. See y'all later, and have a great night.